Keep yourself for God daily, and may tomorrow be as today. Homage to the Creator, who is like our Father, and who is like our Mother, who is everything that we can perceive and everything that we cannot perceive, who is everything, yet is no thing, who comes to us in the form of the Netzuru Ra, who is the light of the heavens, the light of the inner planes, as well as the light of our lives, who shines the light for us on the path of Ma'ati, which is the path of truth, justice, righteousness, and harmonious balance, who comes to us in the form of the light of vitality, giving us the strength and the endurance to live and act upon that which we know to be true. Homage to you, the one who shines in and through us as a beacon of light for those who are blind to the facts of their place, their position, and their responsibilities in the divine scheme of things. May we be Ma'akiru, true of thought, word, and deed, to our highest realities, and in our moments of crises and the dark nights of the soul, when it appears that everyone and everything else has let us down, so it is, and so shall it be. Amen Ma'at. Amen Ma'at. Ma'akiru. 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 I trust all is well. So I want to take a few moments first before we get into everything. Of course, Iyiti, or welcome to the Kemmunion experience. So I want to take a moment to recognize our online people, the most righteous and respectable chat on the planet. Y'all know the protocol, so put in where you're from, because we actually do watch the comments, so plug in where you're from. And I want to give an honorable mention to our sister shrine, the Shrine of Ma'at. I don't always tune into their Ascension program, but when I do, they always have nice, lovely things to say about us. And they're doing some excellent work over there also. You know, you have the Himneta Jabari, he's on the scholastic war front, going to war with certain cats in the community. Y'all understand that we could be part of the same community and have a different assignment, right? Sure. That we all don't have to be doing the exact same expression of the same thing. So I just need to clarify when it sounds like I'm taking shots at scholars, and that's not talking about the Himneta Jabari, because he's banging on the self-proclaimed scholars in the community. And once again, I have no problem with self-proclaimed scholars. You know, when you say Kuju Jacali, you have the right to define yourself for yourself, but it becomes a problem when those individuals cast aspersions on the temples and the practitioners of the legacy. So that's part of his assignment, to hold it down on the front line for the integrity in order for us to have sacred space to do what it is that we do. But what is our assignment? Our assignment is to take everybody off the page, out their heads, and coming from the heart and into the life. Does that make sense? Off the page, out the head, from the heart, and into the life. That's why we say Ankh in Ma'at. We just bypass all niceties and just start charging everybody. As soon as you see them, you're like, live in alignment. That's what Ankh in Ma'at is. Living. Are you living your truth? Are you living your highest reality? Live in alignment. Baba Heru created a yoga system, so-called yoga system. Not to cast aspersions on what he did, but you know, we're in the process of trying to replace words that we define what it is that we do. You know, because it becomes a problem when people use the word yoga, they just automatically think you're taken from the Hindus. So just so y'all know, that wasn't casting aspersion when I said so-called Baba. So-called Baba has called his system Aryanka, and it means to cause the spirit to live. That's what the postures do. That's what the breathing is about. That's what the meditation is about, to cause the spirit to live. So I'm saying, by extension, that is our assignment, what we do here. What we do here, everything that we discuss here is about causing the spirit of the Kemetic legacy to live. Isn't that a fair assessment of what it is that you think we do? So once again, I just want to give the Shrine of Ma'at a shout out. They have a lot of loyal listeners to us over there. Like, I've been watching over the years, and every time I go to the chat section, there's certain names in there. So I just want to let you all know online that I see you and I recognize you. And sometimes the community, other tiers of the community cast aspersions on us as a temple, and it's often the shrine of Ma'at that actually out there banging back on them. So I just want to give them acknowledge. I want to say some names so they know who I'm talking about. You have Sinette Cortia, big up to her. We have Lee McCoy, big up to him. We have Derek Grant, big up to him. We have B Wisdom Ma'at, she was here last communion. We have Roel Ware, excuse me if I messed up your name, but you see the list goes on, and I'm sure there's more that are listening that I just don't know their names. Because y'all know there's dual citizenship between certain temples and stuff, right? Like we just ain't in our corner doing our thing, and they ain't in their corner doing their thing. It's one family. They're brothers, they're sisters, they're cousins. We're trying to grow this as a movement. And yeah, so let me get off of that. So big up to y'all. Thank y'all for constantly plugging in with us and supporting us the best way that you can. So today I'm gonna go a little shorter because it looks like the move of the culture is to go shorter. Because what I'm seeing is it looks like due to TikTok and social media, everyone's attention span is getting shorter and shorter. Some of us is the old guard. We come from the old guard when cats had 7-hour lectures and stuff like that, but they done dumbed everybody down. Not saying that y'all dumbed down, but I'm just gonna experiment just to see how that works, because it's weird when you see people online and they log off like 15 minutes in, you're like, yo, what happened? So everybody's been, I don't know, it's a social experiment. All this thing with social media is a social experiment, and we won't really find out the negative or the detrimental effects of it until the next 10, 25 years. But with that being said, the communion is a whole experience. I just the people online, excuse me, because I always give deference to the people in the room. Because for the people in the room, we're holding down the charge. We're holding to the vision that we all agreed to 40, 50, 60 years when our scholars came on the scene telling us that we have to reclaim our culture back. Remember all the years of people complaining about we don't know our God's name. We got to get back to the ways of our ancestors in our culture. We've completed that. And I just want to let y'all know that the ancestors hold you all in a special place, because what you do or what we do is in honor of what they laid down. Because there's a lot of lip service going on out here. A lot of people think they could bypass the living of the truth with just having data. Having data doesn't mean you right with the ancestors. So y'all all hold a special place, and not to sound ominous, for all the people online, don't ever take it for granted that this will always be offered. And remember, there's a cultural shift. You might not have the opportunity to experience this at all times. Some of us are here from 10 in the morning, and we leave after 5. So for us, it's a whole day experience. So it's not just about me speaking up in here. It's also about us fulfilling the charge that everybody was doing lip service about. Sometimes it becomes disheartening when you took the charge serious, or we took the charge serious, and we looking at the rest of the community like, yo, where y'all at? But I'm not gonna get into that. We're gonna get back into the, we're gonna continue the conversation from last time. Some follow-up thoughts about our last discussion. Remember the reference quote? Yeah, remember, listen to your Ba, follow your heart, and do what is pleasing to your Ka. The talk went over pretty well. A lot of people actually contacted me, not people in here, because there's other people out there living, out there listening. A lot of people contacted me. I noticed there was a spike in my Instagram since that last lecture or discussion. I think a lot of people felt liberated or vindicated from that, because whether we know it or not, there's a lot of people in the cut listening to the leaders. I know y'all don't like the word leaders. People, we don't need leaders, so teachers, those put in position to be teachers, even though, let me get on that real quick, our tradition, whether the Kemetic tradition, whether the Yoruba tradition, they don't have problems with leadership. That's some new stuff that they're talking about. Our traditions produces institutes of of leadership that produces leaders. They don't have an issue with leaders. What happens is it comes down to what's going on in our community is they don't want to follow code. And with the code, there comes a character. So having magnetism, having charisma, and having good oratory skills is not enough even just to be a teacher. Because even by a teacher, being a teacher by default, you're still a leader. Or people still project that on you. Ptah says, so if you're a leader and a commander of many, what does this, can y'all finish it off? If you're a leader, go ahead.
Strive to do what all is good, I believe.
You know, jacked up. Go try that again, brother. If you're a leader and a commander of many, strive for excellence in all that you do.
That's it.
And it's talking about character. So the check is in the charge. Y'all see what I'm saying? So it ain't about getting up here and showing off your knowledge. The check is in the charge. It said, strive for excellence in all that you do. Make sure that there's no fault found in your character. So nobody could be perfect, but you need to be well on your way towards perfecting. So what happens is a lot of our people don't understand when you get up here to teach or share. Remember, it's all just a conversation that you're having out loud with yourself. A lot of people don't understand when you get up here, your life is now under a microscope, and some people get uncomfortable with that. And just absolve yourself of being perfect. It ain't that serious. You're like, okay, I'm not perfect, but I got my stuff enough to speak with confidence about what it is that I do. And so this new thing of trying to act like if a person ain't perfect, I ain't got to listen to what you say. If a person ain't perfect, then somehow that devalues what it is that you're sharing. That's false. We're just shedding a light on a lot of things as we go forward. So a lot of people were in the cut, are often in the cut listening to the leaders and the so-called teachers give them permission to have a good time. Do you know that it bothers a lot of people when y'all be online posting that you're having a good time doing something? They act like you wasting the time, like, oh, that could have been a life that saved them since you was out at the restaurant eating food, smiling. Somebody died. And I keep saying people been dying since the foundation of the world over some ignorant stuff. And I want to just say, it's not all on you. Who told you that it was all on you, that you can't get a moment of reprieve? That so-called struggle is right there in the morning when you get up. And you can only do the best that you can do. Because contrary to popular belief, this planet, this life, this plane, this world is not a penal colony. It is not a prison. Y'all heard that before? Those teachers that Earth, this existence is a penal colony, it's a prison, and that somehow metaphysically on another dimension, you did something wrong and now you're here on earth and it's all jacked up. When the spirits, everybody want to be here. Did y'all know that? What it is, why you think you're giving them offerings? They miss the food. They miss the experience. A lot of them, your ancestors are living vicariously through you. To take the spookism out, the ancestors are your blood, it's your DNA. So that whole thing about spirits that people say, it's just a metaphor. The ancestors are in your DNA, and certain things, when you get in certain environments like incense and when the drums start cracking, it's called epigenetics. When you have this relationship with the environment, certain drum rhythms, certain chants, certain smells will start turning certain codes on in your DNA. And that's beyond your conscious control a lot of times. That's why you can have a total new person come to one of the Kesu, one of the ceremonies, and they'll go into trance. You'll be like, damn, this was their first time, and boom. It turned on some codes. Y'all understand? So life or existence is not punishment. Do y'all know where that philosophy came from? That this is a prison penal colony? Do y'all know where that came from? That came from Far Eastern traditions like Buddhism and Hinduism. Where do we get this? Sometimes those doctrines have influenced us even in our teachings. Like Buddhism, they teach desires cause you to suffer. So give up desiring, give up wanting something because it's just going to disappoint you. Do y'all understand without that being put in proper context that that's a very dangerous philosophy for African-centered people to espouse? Remember, those Asians, whether they're Hindus, Chinese, Japanese, they never been colonized. They never got their identity taken from them and put other thoughts in and make us think the thoughts that only benefit our oppressors. So to tell us, and we're looking for justice, you know, all we're looking for is truth. We're looking for identity. We're looking for justice. So for us to espouse a philosophy, say to not want anything, not to desire anything, that keeps us in complacency. So existence is not suffering. Existence is about the verification of the divine. Existence is about verification of the divine. Existence is about understanding how something goes from the unseen into the seen. Existence is about respecting and acknowledging the protocols of the mystery God. We probably lost 10 listeners, viewers, and you're like, what are you talking about, a mystery God? We don't believe in the mystery God. So let me say it comedically. It's about respecting and recognizing the patterns of Amen Ra. What does Amen mean?
Unseen.
Unseen. Wouldn't that qualify like as a mystery? So it's the creative force, the unseen part of the creative force is making some moves beyond your recognition, causing some patterns, causing sparks, molecules, atoms, quarks, all of that to come together, to come into existence, to pop into existence, so then it becomes Ra, the seen aspects of the creator, or Aten Ra to be specific. So Amen Ra represents that process of respecting the so-called evolution of creation that we know from the book called the Reyu Rek Keperu Ra. What did I just say? The priest giggled.
The book of coming forth by day.
The book of coming, somebody at the door. The book of coming forth by day. Nah. Reyu means what? She's like, don't be looking at me. Reyu means chapters. Rek, Rekit, what does that mean? To know. Keperu, in Ra. To the book or the chapters of knowing the evolutions and the transformations of Ra. So it's the study of a creation story, how stuff go from the unseen into the seen, and how the creator brought forth existence from the utterance of the mouth. Remember the Christians say the beginning was the word. That came from the book of knowing the evolutions of Ra. So with that last conversation, it was very liberating for me personally. And I'm going to live the rest of my waking days pleasing my Ka in right measure. And everything that I teach you all from now on is going to go back to that one way or another, because you're going to have to get some pleasure up out of this life. If you're not getting any type of pleasure or fulfillment, it creates what you call pathology, repression and suppression, because you're doing that long-faced Buddhist thing. I gave up my desires, I've left wanting things in the world, and you're not being honest with yourself. Remember, I said you can't give up what you never had. So I've decided that I'm a blessing to everyone that I know in my life. That sounds crazy, right? I'm so ego. The Buddhists would be mad at him. There is no self. Remember, like I've done a lot of work on myself. I'm proud of myself. I like who I've become, and I'm not done. I'm still evolving. But I finally struck the balance between what pleases my Ka and how much of myself that I'm willing to share with others. Because contrary to popular belief, that's my word today, contrary to popular belief. So contrary to popular belief, my goal isn't to just be serving y'all. Because if that was the case, I wouldn't be here now. People, sometimes our community could be a black hole that can never be filled. People have never had, and y'all know half the time fools don't even know what they want anyway. So how can you really help people that don't even know how they need to be helped? So I'm not here to just do everybody's bidding. I'm not even here to do the ancestors' bidding. Like, what are you talking about? The went too far. I'm not here to do the ancestors' bidding. The creative force is working through me for me to accomplish certain things, but I'm charged to do the ancestors' honor. Does that make sense? To do honor to their memory. The ancestors are here to support us all in what it is that we have to do. is not just to mimic what they have to do. Remember, it's talking the evolutions of Ra. It's about going to the next level, not just doing the same thing. And they knew that. That's what you have the difference between the dynasties. So it didn't stay the same theology from all dynasties. Every time a new dynasty came in, there was certain shifts, changes, and transformations that went on in the culture. But it still was a Kemetic culture. There still was some fundamental things that always were there. It's just certain things get prioritized. For instance, let me finish with the topic. It becomes frustrating when you get up here to realize that your narrative has already been chosen for you by your community. Do y'all understand that? When you appear to come a certain way and fit a certain image, people have chosen what you're supposed to say to them. And if you deviate from that script, it's a problem. That's what's happening with the tension between the scholars and the practitioners. There was a certain narrative that everybody wanted everybody to go with. And we kind of broke with the narrative of just talking about things and doing things, and that became a problem. For instance, we have Mental over here. Mental's our Sunu. He's our physician. He getting scared. Don't be asking me no questions. He's our Sunu. He's our physician. So we're both healers. We both study the healing arts over the course of the years. And haven't you come across a lot of information that shifted what you even believed in over the years? It's paradigm shifting things that you learned over the years. You're like, damn, I don't think I even believe that stuff. That a lot of stuff that I stood on, I don't even know if I believe anymore. Our ancestors done that before. That's what each so-called dynasty was about. It's about a new lineage. For instance, ancestor altars, Kauta. I was just teaching this lesson the other day. The sustainability of offering your ancestors food every day. Are y'all all familiar with the Hatep Dina suit? It is the divine offering. Can anybody give me a line? What does it say? I offer you what?
Alabaster.
How many alabaster?
1,000.
Say 1,000. 1,000 alabaster. Can you imagine offering 1,000 vases every day to your ancestors? Stinking in here. So it's unsustainable. So we can't be leaving 100 apples. You can't be leaving 100 loaves of bread. The rodent population. So what did they do? They got ingenious. They carved it. The Hotep Data suit, they carved it on stone. So, and they could put it on the wall. So now you don't necessarily have to have the table. You have the shrine on the wall and you recite the words. And metaphysically, it's called transubstantiation. To transform a substance from one form to the next. But it didn't mean they gave up the altars. We on to the next. But it didn't mean they gave up the altars. We still got the altars here. Still got the altars here. And I do the Hatep Dina suit over that. And I do the Hatep Dina suit over that. And you disperse the offerings to the community that's sharing a meal with your ancestors and deity. You see how there was a shift in the paradigm. They felt that something wasn't economical and something wasn't practical. They made a shift, but they still honored the tradition. So we can't have this talk when people are like, it's 2023, we can't be doing all that old stuff. Man, like, do y'all know how long Kemetic history is and it stayed relatively the same, even after invasions? So what makes us so special that we just abandon it just because it's 2023? What's so special about 2023? Why are we so comfortable with our colonizers' culture? To the point we clown the ones that's actually holding it down. All of us supposed to be honored in the community. They be like, yo, man, I ain't serious. Like, y'all do nothing that y'all holding it down. I got my own cat, see my little and we be congratulating them. They should be congratulating us too. So still, even a conscious community is out there dang on mine. As health conscious everybody said he is still mentally sick. So, like I said, it becomes frustrating when you get up here and your narrative is decided for you. So people look at me, they go like, okay, he got the uncle and he got the nice rings, he's tall, devastatingly handsome, deep voice. He's authoritative, so they be like, okay, I got him. He's a Hoteper. He's supposed to espouse veganism and vegetarianism and alkaline diet, and the black woman is God, and expose white supremacy and racism, and talk about how the system got the foot on their neck. That's what you're supposed to talk about. And if I don't do it, what's the Kemetic word for no? Tim. Tim. That's just an example of a little bit of the power that emanates from the ancestors wanted all the water on that one.
Libations.
Libation. So I said, Tim, I say no to all of those things. I have the right to speak. What happens is you're going to see me weaving in out of those things, because all of those things are true. But in my experience on this path, all of those things are only half true at best. Y'all hear me? Half true at best. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. Remember, that's one of the teaching principles in the so-called Hermetica. Every truth is only half true. So now it's time to start expounding on the other half of the truth. So we're not relinquishing bliss. Remember I said, follow your ba, listen to your and do what is pleasing to your ka. Remember I summarized that as following your bliss. So we're not relinquishing our bliss. Remember we talk about in our community, they got the bliss police. So you got the COs, now we got the BOs. We're not relinquishing bliss. So I'm gonna take it to another level. So I'm done with people trying to control. No, you can only talk about our past greatness, what once was, and you can only talk about the future of our people and how we're 1,000 miles from it. But you cannot, you must not, and you dare not charge people to commit to anything in the current circumstances. You see, that's the off-putting thing to the community. They don't like to be charged to commit to anything. You hear the conversations in their head. I ain't joining nothing. Nobody telling me nothing. My spirit. So when you don't tell people, when you don't charge people to commit to anything, you hear that we. What we need to do as a people, I'm looking at people post online and everything is we. What we need to do, we need to get out of the system and we. Then you start laying down a protocol on what needs to be done, then it becomes me, my spirit, my, Johnny Gill. So check it out. The future is determined by what you commit to now. And the past has dictated your current conditions. So nobody cares about what used to be. It's about now. What are you doing now? And is all that stuff in the past relevant and useful for now? That's why I said in the text that it is offensive to the body to waste one's time. It is offensive to the soul to waste one's time. So it's offensive to the soul to just stay talking about trivial matters. So if whatever you're discussing, if you're not prepared to act on it directly, like now, right now, you're wasting your time. No protesting and none of that. Like, you got to get your thing together and act on it, and the ancestors and the divine forces are going to be with you. With that, no complaining. It's offensive to the soul to waste one's time. So I've graduated the meaning of following your bliss to peace and contentment. Follow your peace, follow your contentment. So here we get into the meat of the lesson. What is the word for peace and contentment? Hatep. Y'all doing good. So what is the glyph for Hatep? Table with the offering with a loaf of bread. Some say the offering mat. What, just real quick, off the top of your head, what does a table represent? What qualities? Foundation, say that again. Stability. Okay. What is the word Hatep backwards? That principle of an inversion again. Who is Ptah? The establisher of the heavens and the earth. We know about Ptah from the Reyu Rakit, Keperu Ra, the book of knowing the evolutions of Ra. They talk about patah in there. What is the word for heaven? Pet. What is the word for earth? So y'all see the word, the bars, the double and triple entendre. So pet is heaven. Earth is what? What is the word for bread? Ta. So, heavenly bread. The ka'ut, the altar, stability. Heavenly bread, we're talking about like, what is bread made out of? Flour. Grain. So first of all, on that table, where is the bread? Is it on this corner right here? Center. So we're talking about stability, we're talking about centeredness, we're talking about groundness. So grain comes from where? Earth, the earth element. Don't you need water to add to that flour to make it malleable?
Fire.
Now you need fire and air, and that's the oven, right? So we're talking about the alchemical leavening of the bread. So what you're doing, what they're trying to teach us, that you're trying to create the right alchemical blend of elements. Earth, wind, those are life elements. If you study the book of Noah, the creations of Ra, they talk about the elements, how the elements came into being. So as above, so below, so within, so without. So we are the creator having a human experience, right? So we have to go through the same process. We're talking about a perfect or the right alchemical blend of elements of life's experiences that will yield you bliss, peace, and contentment. So you will learn to use water. Now, what is water a metaphor of? Emotions. What is earth a metaphor of? Centeredness, grounding. So there's experiences that you're going to need to learn about grounding. There's experiences you're going to need about emotional control. What about fire? Action, energy, stimulation. What about air? Respiration, flow, movement. Would movement be a proper breakdown? So you see, you cannot avoid life. It's your charge to master or gain some type of sufficiency or efficiency with these elements. So where are we going with this? So follow your ba, listen to your do what is pleasing to your ka. So that brings us to the crux of the lesson, which is the emotional scale, the vibrational emotional scale, because you can't do, that phrase is just something abstract if you don't understand the vibrational emotional scale. You hear people say, emotions are good service, but what? It's like, okay, let us have a conversation of emotions. Everybody, if you got a piece of paper, draw one vertical line down the paper. And in the middle, just draw a small horizontal line just to delineate as above, so below. Y'all tell me when you're ready. All right, so now we're gonna go with some basic emotions. And we all understand, I think you all understand that emotion, every emotion has a subset. So this is not gonna be an exact something like we're doing just a generalization. So when you're home and doing your own meditations about it, you can fill it out. So at the lowest part, put grief.
On either side, the left or right?
No, the bottom. Remember, it's vertical.
I don't think I misunderstood.
Kind of like a cross.
Yeah, that's right.
At the very bottom of the line.
You should get the Christian cross. You're like, not in the middle, like exactly in the middle. She did the crucifix. You know, the crucifix, the crossbar is up high. We almost like a plus sign.
Oh, okay.
Exact, like equilateral.
At the very bottom of the vertical line, put the word
Grief.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That axis, the bottom of that axis.
So grief, on top of grief, put rage. On top of rage, put fear. This is all before you get to that crossbar. On top of fear, put anxiety. Now, cross the crossbar and put happiness. On top of happiness, go with joy. On top of joy, go with love. On top of love, put contentment. That's Hatep, peace. So this is a generalization of the emotional scale. So you see the metaphysic principle of polarity happening with that scale. So you have water, and on your faucet you have hot water and you have cold water, right? It's all water, so you know at a certain degree you could feel cold turn into warm, turn into hot, and vice versa. You could feel hot turn into lukewarm, to cool, to cold. This is the emotional scale. So bottom of grief represents depression. Depression is like that word compression. It means you got the wind knocked out of you. Grief is your failure to accept what has happened already. It's that Moby energy. It's the lowest of the vibration. Remember, none of these are negative. It's just vibration. You get to choose where you're at. Remember, you're a divine being. You get to choose where you're at any given time. You even got the right to mess up your life. A lot of people don't like that. They be like, Jesus saved me, the ancestor saved me. They're like, nah, babe. Nah, you fix it. Fix your vibration. They're only responding to your vibration, but we're going to get back to it. So it's the failure to accept what has happened already. It's like, oh, man, damn, I can't believe that happened. Do y'all believe what happened to me, man? Damn, I was stupid. I should have been better. Then you mopey, depressed, no air. Oxygen is life. No air, depression, repression, compression. You're down low. You down bad in the game. What's on top of that?
Rage.
Rage. Is rage a negative emotion? Depends, you say context, depends on how you use it. So do you get the purpose of anger and rage?
To build fire, cause action.
Exactly. It's to get out of stuck energy. So instead of that mopey thing, the next level becomes, man, bump that. How dare they? We see it in the conscious community with how we feel about, certain people feel about Christianity and stuff. They stay stuck in that rage phase. And they just on a rampage every day about it. Now, check it out. This is an interesting conversation. What brought you to the legacy? Was it rage, anger, or was it love? I think you said rage. Okay, you went through the vibrational. He went through the vibrational scale. So the problem is, like rage is necessary. You be like, bump that, nah, but if it's not directed, it becomes bad. So what happened? Some of our greatest proponents of African-centered thinking were people that were enraged. They were enraged because of what was done to us, and they're like, nah, we got to get that foot up off our neck. We got to do something, rightfully so. But just because you hate Christianity, hate your ex-oppressor and stuff, doesn't mean that you got love for all African things. Doesn't mean that you got love for your people. Some of those very people are very abusive in their personal relationships and very abusive to the community by extension because they're stuck in anger. Anger was to get them to get from being unstuck with the grief and the depression. So it represents movement. You see, so if you're in the emotion and you don't have any guidance and direction about moving it up, that's when it becomes negative. Remember, emotions are supposed to be transitory. You're not supposed to be defined by any one of those emotional states. That's when it becomes a disease, or the foundation for disease. And we go up to anger. Because rage can be reckless. You can't build no culture off of no rage. Imagine what the mad people, what do they be talking about at dinner with their kids and stuff? You know that white man did, I was out working the crack. You're like, that can't be good. That can't be healthy. So your rage, once with direction, diffuses into anger. Y'all see where I'm going with it? Rage is better than grief, right? So you see, grief is the lowest. So it's better for you to be enraged or angry than it is for you to be depressed and down. Because depressed down means you're defeated. You don't want to stay defeated. So you're elevating up to rage, elevating up through anger. What's next?
Fear.
Fear. Now fear is like, okay, I've raged and I got anger. I cussed a whole bunch of people out. I burned down some buildings, set the city on fire. Now it's like, oh snap. Was that the right thing to do? What am I going to do now? Where am I going to live? Who's going to like me? Is anybody going to like this new version of me? That's fear. So understand grief, fear, anger, all that has to do with the past, stuff that's been done with you. So now fear is like, what's next? Now you start looking at the future. That's why fear has this frenetic energy. It's like, oh, you're wired. Because you're like, what's happening? That elevates you into anxiety. Anxiety is about, okay, what's next? So once again, with direction, with guidance through cleansing, ritual, wisdom, you learn to shift, change, and transform your circumstances so that anxiety could make you cross that crossbar into what's next, happiness. Because you start realizing, okay, I did the ritual and things have improved. You're like, oh, there is some rhyme or reason to why things happen the way they happen. You be like, I would like to have some more say-so in it, but I see that there's a divine pattern going on. Okay, oh, you're telling me I have some say-so if I do these rituals, if I do these cleanses, I could co-create my reality? Yes. That tends to make people happy to realize that you don't have to be a victim. You're not a perpetual victim, and there's no devil out there. There's no invisible forces with their foot on your neck like how you thought the white man did. That you were actually in power or in control the whole time. So it tends to make you happy that you have the technology or now the access to have a say-so in your quality of life. That tends to make people happy. Now you start getting proficient at it. If you're a good initiate, you start getting proficient at it so that happiness starts building. So when you have good things happen, you tend to start thinking better thoughts. Your reality, the universe starts responding to your new vibration. You start getting more what you want, and that brings joy. Joy elevates into love. So now you're feeling in this elated state. Now you want to do something for the community. When you were down that grief, anger, and rage, you was doing this Superman thing, like, I want to punch a cracker in the face. And that's where the burning the building down thing. But when you're feeling good about yourself and your personal circumstances, your money right, now you're talking about, let's do some real estate. Let's get the bag. That's the love thing. My brother, my sister, let's work together. And then what happens? Some messed up stuff in life happens. And then some people fall all the way back down to grief. You're like, oh man, why God take my grandmother? You know, people that do that thing, they get mad at God or the Creator when somebody dies. Like, damn, dude, you thought your grandmother was never gonna die? I thought we was mature. I thought we believed there was no such thing as death. I thought even in the other tradition you said something about heaven. I thought she was in a better place. Stop playing and put up the altar. And give her offerings. Pay attention to your dreams. They ain't gone nowhere. They just shifted dimensions. We don't lose family, we gain ancestors. Bars. So something happens. Some people fall all the way back down to grief, and they be like, I knew something was gonna happen. Some people say, like, this is too good to be true. So you start planting seeds of your own demise, and you forgot that you were a co-creator. So every thought becomes something. Every thought is an investment of a reality that's about to be created. Some people can't give positive thoughts sufficient energy because they're wearing a mask and they're just still defeated. So anyway, so when those things happen, that's life. That's what character is supposed to be about. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean your ancestors and whoever has cursed you just because some things happen. It's just a challenge to go to your next level. So it's a certain level of maturity that comes with this. So you be like, okay, I was up and things was good and now things are not so good. I have the maturity to know that everything happens in cycles. So now you learn to rest in that. That's peace, that's contentment. You see how contentment is the top, not love, not joy, not happiness. Contentment is to know that I'm going to be good because all of this is passing anything. Even the Bible said, and this too shall pass. So the emotions are your biofeedback to where you are in relationship to manifesting the best version of yourself. I repeat, your emotions are biofeedback to where you are in relationship to manifesting the best version of yourself. Your emotions are your energetic report card. Now you see how you can never lie, or nobody can ever lie. All you do is check out their emotional state. Now you see the emotional range that now you don't have to, you shouldn't go through any gymnastics to justify any emotional state, justify being. We dealt with language, right? You know, we got some wordplay, metaphors, double and triple entendres. We did that, right? It's a check, say check if we did. Check, did you get a relevant message that you could use walking out the door today? Did we encourage nationalism? You know, because they put that in the community. You gotta be about your people. Everything still was about us as a people and advancing us as a people, right? Check. What about history? I'm gonna test y'all now. What did we say about history?
Different dynasties evolved over
Okay.
time.
All right. So we done. All right, everybody rise up. I want to thank everybody online for listening. And that, what's the magic words for the people? Run those pockets, run the cash out.
To all of our Facebook and YouTube followers, we appreciate your energy and your presence today. And we also appreciate the energy that you send us in the form of donations. That reciprocity can be sent to us via Cash App, $ Temple of Anu, or by PayPal to templeofanu@gmail.com.
Everybody to 90 degrees. Can we say Shimmy and Matep?
Shimmy and Matep.
Brothers right over left, sisters left over rights, and D and new, Uncles Jocelyn.
D and new, Uncle Jocelyn.
Hands open, give energy around everybody in the room, online. Retract it back to the heart chakra and ground it out in your body on the count of 3. Ground it with your right foot. Wa, Sanu, Shemet. All right, do it.
Do on that, everybody.